time?
1 minute.
1 minute.
I'm staring at a TV in online class. 8 to 5 to class for work. The chair that keeps going. Who brought that?
I had a chair when we were in executive session last time. I kept doing that. You guys were talking about chair coast.
There's a few getting
Grab that back.
I was thinking, can you see everything? Because I'm going to be on the ground.
I guess it's good to go slow and not.
Yeah.
I used to do that and spell my own password. Do you have a pen?
Wouldn't you love to take a long trip with me?
No.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Franklin County Community School Corporation School Board of Trustees meeting for the month of September. I would like to open up the meeting with a public hearing on the budget. The public hearing is for the 2024 budget, bus replacement plan, and capital project and capital assets plan. And I will turn that over to Kendra Franks to explain everything.
So for the 2024 budget year, we are asking for a budget in the education fund of $17,200,426, the operation fund of $9,846,628, and the debt service fund of $4,298,565, and in the rainy day fund, $1 million. So we're asking for a total budget, 2024 budget of $32,345,669. The bus replacement plan for the 2024 budget year, we are asking for the possibility of purchasing 2 buses to replace. The capital asset, we are asking for just projects that we could possibly do. Do you want to talk about these, or do you?
Sure.
Okay.
We're just looking at upgrading the tractor, the lifting for the front of it, snow plow and salt spreaders for the newest truck, water heater and football at the football complex, portable stoplight possibly at 101, concrete walks and curbs, corporation-wide, walk-in freezer, Brookville Elementary, and looking at rekeying all schools since a lot of those have been lost over all these years. So just to try and improve the security. Projects, we're also, looking again at corporation-wide asphalt roof replacement, corporation-wide HVAC, a gym reseal for the middle school and high school, new classroom technology for the elementary schools, auditorium seating, auditorium stage flooring to be fixed, BES drainage, and playground upgrades. Any questions?
I would also like to note that all of these capital assets that we are bringing to you and projects are not necessarily things that we are suggesting are going to move forward for. However, we would like to build them into our budget just in case something happens. Like Mr. Isaac said, our HVAC, things like that, we would like to have them budgeted for worst case scenario that something may happen, not saying that it will.
We just put geothermal in Mount Carmel and Laurel, so I'm assuming that the HVAC are the above ground units, the air handlers and such. Is that what?
Correct, that are in the classrooms. Condensers and such that are in those. Yes.
Would you repeat one other thing? You said a portable stoplight.
Out at 101 and Wildcat, we're always trying to improve that safety, especially since they put in the new bubble lane. It's really dangerous for a traffic person, which we finally were able to find somebody. Just trying to make it safer, trying to get a portable stoplight there through the state. so that that person can stand to the side and control it and not be out in the middle of Wildcat and 101.
Thank you.
At this time, we will open up for public comments. Are there any comments by the public?
Changes from this year's budget request to 23 to 24?
I'm sorry.
The question was, what was the increase of the budget from 23 to 24?
A lot of things go into consideration when increasing the budget due to raises, as far as supply needs, the cost of inflation of just material objects. Do you have a specific request that would attribute to this that you're seeking, or is there like?
Is it similar to operating under the current environment?
It is. We have noticed a lot of supply need increases just due to the economy, and so those are reflected on here. However, this is very similar to our current budget.
Are there any other comments? At this time, we will close comments from the public hearing. Now we'll call to order the regular school board meeting. If we could stand and have pledge of allegiance, and afterwards, let's please observe a moment of silence, and also remember that today is 9/11, and keep those people in our prayers.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first up on the item is the consent agenda items. Is there any discussion? Do I have a motion? Rick single, or Rick and Kevin? All in favor? Raise your right hand. 7-0, I believe. Next up is the financial reports.
The education fund balance as of August 31st, 2023 was $4,593,293.82. A year ago, this balance was $3,549,087.25. The operations fund balance as of August 31st, 2023 was $1,555,431.39. A year ago, this balance was $982,696.01. The investment interest earned year-to-date as of August 31st, 2023 was $233,382.36. This is compared to $16,927.47 a year ago.
This is a discussion only item. Is there any discussion?
I would like to say one thing. Can I? Is this for me to say?
Sure.
Kendra, thank you so much for heads up on our investment. It's made a world of difference. We appreciate you being on the lookout for us, and that gives us just a little bit more money. So thank you so much for helping us.
Any other comments? Okay, we'll move on. Next up is the cafeteria report.
The cafeteria fund balance as of August 31st, 2023 was $642,048.98. This is compared to $645,393.37 a year ago. The latchkey fund balance as of August 31st, 2023 was $13,418.52. This is compared to $6,906.96 a year ago. And I'd just like to make note, usually at the latchkey, at the beginning of the school year, we see an influx. parents stocking up a little bit just in case at the beginning of the school year. And our latchkey coordinators who are running them, they will start to buy supplies as they need it throughout the year. So that's why that balance is a little bit higher than normal.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll move on to celebrations.
Tonight, I would like to recognize Mrs. Terry Hornberger as our September Educator of the Month. Mrs. Hornberger teaches agriculture, and she's the FFA advisor at Franklin County High School. She's been teaching here for 5 years. Her earlier years, her degrees in reading and literacy in early childhood. So when she transitioned, I think it was all her experience as a 4-H in the Farm Bureau Board. So she was nominated, I believe when I pulled this up, at 7 students nominated Mrs. Hornberger for this award. And some of the responses from the students, she stands out from other educators by the way that she builds connections with her students. She makes sure that every student is working to the best of their ability and adapts to fit their needs. She cares about every student like they're her own child. To say Mrs. Hornberger is determined and dedicated is an understatement. She has truly made me a better person, and I feel that she is the most deserving educator for this award. So when she's not at school, which is pretty much every 7 days a week, she enjoys shopping, gardening, and spending time with her family. So we always ask our educators of the month why they love their job, and she responded, building meaningful relationships with my students and sharing my passion for agriculture with not only my students but others. The small wins always have a way of turning into big moments in life. So congratulations, and join me in recognizing Mrs. Hornberger as our September.
Okay.
So as part of tonight, we're going to celebrate the landscaping that the high school did. FFA and probably her horticulture and landscaping classes did at the end of the year, and I think they're continuing it on this year, so I'm going to let them take the stage.
Thank you. With me tonight, I brought my crew with me. All of these fine people have taken a part in it one way or another. Paisley Helms is over there working the computer. She's our president. She was actually the original ones of part of this program that we started. I've got Gina Crawford. She's our secretary. And then Emma Ludwig, she's our other secretary. Layla Gruber here, she's our reporter. And then Savannah Leach, she's our treasurer. So those are our officers. That's not all of them, but I wanted to bring them so you could all see who is doing the work over there in the FFA world. So we started this project probably, if I remember right, January, February. And this is the class that came up with this idea. It was Grant Blades, Shannon Stanger, Hazley Helms, Brooke Bruns, Isaac Seedling, Braden Hofer, and Lizzie Higginbotham. So why did we pick this plan? I'm a big promoter of pollinators because we need our bees to help grow our food, and there's just not enough pollinators right now to make sure that our honeybees stay happy and they can feed. So we've added a lot of pollinator flowers in front of the school and by the cafeteria. Go ahead, Hazley. So these are some of the flowers that you'll see in front of the school. You've got blue cornflowers along with the blue spruce shrubs. Go ahead. And then you have the hostas and the white butterfly bushes. Go ahead. So that's what you now will hopefully see. There's some things that have settled, which is common, so we have to go back in and fix them. Our horticulture class is now maintaining these grounds, and so Isaac Seedling and Justin Weaver are in charge of front of the school, and then we have some other students that's going to work on the cafeteria side along with the greenhouse side. So we have a maintenance plan that we're going to keep weeding. It seems like we weed it and then it rains and then we've got more weeds, but it's fine. I'm actually pretty impressed on how well these flowers established. Some of them don't look the greatest, but I say give them about a year, let them get established, get that winter in, and hopefully they'll turn out much better than what they look like right now. So go ahead. So on the cafeteria side, we are installing pavers. The other reason why I brought my crew with me as well is we would like to ask the board for permission to write a Living to Serve grant. The FFA donates $5,000 to $10,000 in community service projects. So we would like to have a grant to do rubber mulch on the cafeteria side to match what we have in front of the school, and then also plant native species down by the outdoor lab and kind of make that more of an outdoor lab space. Kind of go with what East Central kind of did, but make it a little bit more to where the kids can actually have information signs next to the tree so they actually know what they're looking at, and do maybe some repairs if possible on the outdoor shed that's there. But that's contingent if we get your blessing or not. So basically kind of like the same flowers that are in front of the school that are now over on the cafeteria side, except for the oak tree hydrangeas. Those are all by the cafeteria. We have lilac, we have lilies, and we have butterfly bushes over there as well. So, any questions?
Yeah, when are you supposed to come over to my house?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All over it, are you?
Yeah.
No, they've done a wonderful job. It's very
Thank
pretty.
you.
Terry, when is your grant due that you were talking about?
It's due January 1st, I do believe.
So you can send me information for the next
Yes.
board meeting, and I can
Okay.
put it on as an agenda item.
Awesome,
And I
absolutely.
can't picture anyone not wanting
Right.
to do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was just gonna ask if you already had one in mind, but you obviously do.
we're always thinking. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Actually, can we get a picture of all the ladies up there?
I'm happy to announce that Mrs. Shelby Hamilton has been selected as September Support Staff of the Month. She currently serves as a Guidance Counselor Secretary at Franklin County High School, which her job is bigger, much bigger than being just a secretary. She joined us in 2022. She was nominated for this honor by 2 colleagues. When asked why Mrs. Hamilton should be considered for this recognition, they responded, "She is always so polite, kind, compassionate, and helpful. She maintains a positive attitude and makes everyone feel welcomed and heard." Shelby not only completes her own job responsibilities, but is constantly taking on additional ones to help others out. Recently, we were short-staffed in the guidance office, and Shelby stepped up and helped out greatly during that time. She contributes so much. Outside of school, Shelby enjoys time spent with family and friends, especially playing games, doing puzzles together. And then we ask her what her best part of her job is, and she says, "In my short time at Franklin County High School, I've been very blessed to work with such helpful coworkers and meet so many great students. I love being able to watch the students grow and gain confidence in themselves throughout their coursework, internships, and other great opportunities offered at Franklin County High School. They make every day interesting." I'm sure they do. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Quick picture right here.
Sarah, do you want a picture of this group,
This fine young
this
crew.
FFA group? Yes.
This is as far as it goes down, just so you know.
Okay, at this time, if you would like to leave the meeting, as you're here as a guest, especially with celebrations, you may do so, so you do not have to remain. And Kelly, sit down. Okay, next up are statements from the public. In order to address the board, individuals must sign in prior to the start of the meeting. Individuals have signed up are given 3 minutes to speak. A minimum of 5 people may speak upon the same issue. And we ask that you do not use individuals' names and avoid repetition. And repetition shall not be permitted, as well as the name of individual employees, like I said. So, first up is
Mr. Sanford.
Mr. Sanford. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Hello, Sam.
Thank you.
You're about to receive a copy of something called the White Paper,
Thank you.
the Justice for Adolescent and Child Transitioners Act. It's from an organization called Do No Harm, as you can see. I don't know anything about them. I found it on the internet. The reason I made copies to give to you, not because of the legal aspect particularly, but because of information from a medical standpoint. I'm trying to speak louder.
I was gonna say,
So,
She's being kind
thank
for
you.
me.
Thank you
She's
again
being
for that,
kind for me.
reminder last week. I only have 3 minutes, so I'll just read a part of this, hoping you'll be reading the rest of it. In recent years, there's been a dramatic increase in the number of minors in the United States who report some form of inconsistency between their sex, and their perception of their gender or sex. This discordance may sometimes cause serious distress, leading to a diagnosed condition of gender dysphoria. Available data indicate that diagnoses of gender dysphoria in minors ages 6 to 17 rose by about 20% annually between 2017 and 2020, and by 80% between 2020 and 2021, for a total of 121,882 new diagnoses during this 5-year period. Indeed, this is likely a conservative estimate because it is based solely on insurance claims. One more paragraph. In the United States, advocates and practitioners of so-called gender-affirming care for minors, individuals under the age of 18, suggest that when faced with situations of gender discordance or dysphoria, pediatricians, mental health professionals, endocrinologists, and healthcare professionals should give precedence to the minor's perception instead of the minor's actual sex when attempting to resolve an inconsistency between the two. If the minor's body and the minor's perception are inconsistent, the thinking goes, any treatment to address the inconsistency should affect the body and not the perception. I would like to read more, but I'm going to run out of time. So please read the rest of it.
Thank you. Can you do me a favor in the future? Make mine a little bit larger. I'm almost blind.
You want a larger one?
Yeah, larger print. I'll look this up and I'll have my wife enlarge it. But
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
April Ison.
Next up is April Ison.
All right, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to address the board. From a budgetary standpoint, it seems that we are doing very favorably this year. Every month, we're reporting around $1 million increase to both our educational and operational budgets over the previous year. It's my understanding that we invested grant money that is showing a favorable return. What grants are we currently receiving as a school corporation? Is there information accessible to the public to understand what grants we receive? In addition, with the favorable results in our finances, how will this impact the recent August 23rd closed-door session in which the school board discussed school closings? Are we able to maintain keeping all of our elementary schools open? And are you able to share some transparency with this topic with the public? I would like to shift focus quickly, as one of the items on the agenda this evening is related to a new board policy 2432, a grievance procedure for the violation of the state law limiting participation of transgender girls in athletics. This is required from House Bill 1041. I understand that House Bill 1041 was passed on July 1st of 2022. Therefore, it feels that we are very slow in responding to this requirement as a school corporation. If the proposed policy is approved tonight, when will parents and the public have access to this new policy? This year, Indiana passed a handful of bills which impact school corporations, with an effective date of July 1st, 2023. Examples include 1346, 1608, and 1447. I had anticipated that these bills would be covered in the July or August school board meetings. However, they have not yet been discussed as a topic, and it's unclear if existing policies cover these new laws. When will these topics be shared, and when will the new policies be aware to the parents and the public? What I'm really requesting this evening for myself and for the parents of this community is an increased level of transparency. I would ask the board to consider transparency of new policies and decisions and improve the communication to staff, parents, and the community that it impacts. In the same breath, I would ask the parents that are listening online to engage in your child's schooling. We all too often think that we are not at risk being in a smaller community, that critical race theory is not being integrated, or that items that are hitting the national news will not impact us. But what I would like to share is that last year, the Franklin County school year, all 3rd and 5th graders received this book free, Change Sings, which seems like a very innocent and encouraging book from its appearance. This book was written by Amanda Gorman. She is a committed activist for environmental, critical race theory, and gender equality. And this book comes with its very own critical race theory lesson plan that teachers can use to educate our students. Do I believe that this lesson plan is being used at Franklin County? I do not. However, it is now an option and accessible to our community, and this book is in many of our homes. So our parents must begin to engage. I would ask that we as the parents and the board begin to work closer together with an increased transparency and communication on new policies, policy changes, and decision makings for our community to secure a bright future for our children.
Thank you, April. I'd like to address one issue, is the executive session about the closing of the school. All the funds do appear on the rise. We have decreased funding. We have ESSER money right now, which is federal money, which will go away. We have student counts that are down to 1971. We were projected out, what was it, 5 years ago at 2,066. So we're seeing fewer and fewer students. In addition to that, we also have reduced funding. We go from 7 to 1%, correct, Kendra? So the money that kind of appears to be there will slowly be faded away as costs increase. So how does it affect the school? We don't know. We have not decided what action particularly to take, but to stay afloat. Tonight, we have a GEO bond, and we also have a transportation levy that we're asking the board to approve so that we can do this.
Good, thank you for
That's
that.
about as much as I can tell you. However, I will tell you, if you have questions, feel free to call Ms. Chavis.
Yep, I understand. And here's the questions that I included in my communication tonight.
Thank you there, Hamburg.
April, do you know that our agenda is posted?
Yes.
So some of the things that you're talking about are going to be addressed tonight.
It's not on there. Those laws are not identified on your agenda.
I said some of the things that you addressed tonight will be on the agenda.
But I guess that's part of my transparency request is I go out and I look at the agenda every single month before I come. And there's no real items that indicate what you're talking about under the specific categories.
Okay, let's go back to what Francis said then. If you have any questions or you need to contact somebody.
Okay.
Now we have statements from employees. There's none. Thank you, April, by the way. Now we go to the superintendent's report.
No.
No, we don't. We go to where?
Old business.
Old business. I'm sorry, old business.
So last month, we discussed use of social media, board policy 7544. We did not take action on that last board meeting. I did add that sentence that I did discuss at the last board meeting. I think it was highlighted in yellow. So I'm assuming we want to discuss that and potentially approve that policy tonight.
Discussion, please. Discussion. Pretty please? Okay, well then if there's,
We've modeled this from Neola and other schools compared to other.
exactly, thank you, Kevin. Is there a motion? I'm sorry, somebody raised their hand, but.
So moved.
Rick and Beth.
Rick and Beth, thank you, Kevin. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? We have none, so it's 7-0. Okay, now we go to new business.
So I'm asking tonight just for permission to advertise notice of a project hearing. As I have expressed to the board, the AV compared to last year went up about 7.75%. That does give us some room to leverage a project. It will not be a large project, probably a little over $1 million. Keith and I haven't quite settled on what that may be, but more than likely it will be roofing at the high school. But before we have the project hearing, we have to advertise that we are having that hearing 10 days prior to, which would be at the next board meeting. So Stiefel will be here at the October board meeting, and they'll talk about the scope of the project, total cost, and any tax increase that we may incur. But I have already discussed with them that I only want the amount of a project that would not raise taxes. So tonight, you're not approving any project, you're just giving me permission to advertise for the hearing in October.
Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I move.
Is there a second? Katie? All in favor? Raise your hand. I think we're 7-0. Okay, next up is the superintendent contract. As president of the Franklin County School Corporation Board of Trustees, I recommend that we approve the contract that has been posted on the corporation website for Superintendent Ms. Tammy Chavis. Is there discussion?
My only question was the urgency. This is not a vote of no confidence or any question along those lines. Just, we're 1 year into a 3-year contract that was just signed in January. I wasn't sure of the urgency to add a 2-year extension.
I think it was a matter of urgency based off the question April asked is, how solvent are we? And if you wait till the last minute in order to ensure that she can make the decision, if we had to close the school, she protects herself as the superintendent from repercussions of making that decision. Any other discussion? All in favor? Raise your hand. Oh, I'm sorry, need a motion. Katie, Beth, or Rick, which? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? We have, was that Brandy? Mm-hmm. Brandy and Kevin oppose, and the rest are for. Okay, next up is transportation.
Hello. I'm here because I would like to request permission to advertise school bus route bids for the next contract for 2024 through 2027 school years.
Any discussion? Is there a motion?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So you said 24, so that would be 4 years?
3.
3 years.
And doing so because with this current 1-year extension that we are doing now, it puts contractors off on the buying year to buy new buses if they need to. So to get them back on that schedule, it would have to be a 3 or a 5 year. So I think all the contractors and myself agreed that a 3-year would be in the best interest.
Can you tell the people that are here tonight why we gave them a 1-year contract in case they don't understand why? Just a little bit of history behind that.
Well,
I'm sorry.
no,
if I'm
you're
putting you on
fine.
the spot.
No, you're fine. We did the 1-year contract because the price of a school bus has gone up significantly. And typically, when you buy a school bus, you plan out maybe a little less than a year in advance. With where we were running into, it was going to make it where if a contractor purchased a new bus, they would not have had it in time for this current school year. So we went ahead and did a 1-year extension in hopes that all contractors who are bidding on routes and owning routes gives them plenty of time to, if they are currently purchasing a new bus, they are able to start doing that now for forward years.
Thank you.
Did you say for 4 more years or for forward years?
Forward,
Okay.
sorry.
3 years.
Just
Future.
making sure I heard
3
you.
years.
Yeah, the next
Yeah.
contract, I would like to advertise a 3-year bid.
I just making sure I heard you correctly.
No, yes,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I
Thank you,
Discussion?
and I didn't mean to put you on
apologize.
the spot.
No, you're fine. It's okay.
Any discussion? Do we have a motion? Katie and Kevin, all in favor? 7-0. Next up are the school improvement plans from Brookville, Laurel, and Mount Carmel.
I have the elementary principals here presenting their plans, and then the next board meeting will be secondary, so.
Our first goal in the 3 elementaries, this year the 3 elementaries are working together to align, so we have the same goals. The first goal is that we would like to improve our attendance rate to 97 or above.
Our second goal is that 90% of all students in grades K through 6 will increase their RIT points by equal to or greater than 5 between fall of 2023 and spring of 2024 administration of the NWEA MAP reading assessment.
And I'll just finish up with the math, and it's basically the same thing as the English language arts. By spring, 90% of the students in grades, it'll be K through 5 for me, will increase their RIT points by 5 between the fall of this year and spring of 2024.
Excuse me, would you explain RIT points?
It's their increase in points,
Yeah.
as compared
Through
to,
NWEA.
through NWEA, as compared to other students, they're same or equal to age.
I'm not sure everybody knew. I
That's
was
okay.
kind of,
That's a good question.
Good one. Good question.
Any questions? Thank you, ladies. Jill, I really want to tell you, you look just a little bit older than the last time I saw you. That's all. Okay, next up are the recommendations to approve McKibben.
We need to vote on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. We do need to vote on this. Is there a motion? Katie, Beth, all in favor? 6.5 because I'm only half here, it looks like. Okay, now we have the recommendation to approve McKibben demographic research to complete a population and enrollment forecast for 2024 to 2033.
As requested by the board, I did reach out to Mr. McKibben. He was the individual that did our last demographic study, 2016-17. I spoke with him on the phone last week. He is available to do our study again. The cost of the study itself is $5,400. And if we want him to come and make a presentation at a special board meeting, it'll be an additional $1,200. So he will do a forecast for 24-25 through 2023, 2030. 2034 for all buildings.
What's the timeline on that?
He did say if the board did approve it tonight, he would attempt to have that done in November.
And to kind of point back to April's question of the transparency, this study will help us decide which direction our budget may be headed. And because we have to project out 3 years, 4 years in advance at least, so we need to know what the trends are and how we're going to handle loss of funds as we go. So that's the importance of this survey.
How much was he gonna charge to present it?
$1,200.
Is that, I mean, pretty standard in comparison to what they all charge, or?
It's slightly higher than it was last time. I think it was 5,000 last time. So he's only, since 2016, he's only increased that by 400. I don't know what his presentation fee was last time. I could not find that. But he'll give us a pamphlet or booklet, and he will go over the entire process, how he came up with the numbers. So, and he will answer any other questions that the board may have as
But
well.
open discussion and
Yes.
questions and answers.
Right. That we wouldn't be able to have if we just had the report itself, so if we're making a motion, I need to,
Include for the survey and the presentation.
I would make a motion to approve the survey and the presentation.
Is there a second of that motion? Was that you, Brandy, that raised your hand?
Randy,
Okay.
both the.
Yeah, we both did.
Okay. All in favor? We have a 7-0 vote in favor of it. Okay, next up is the 2023 Teacher Appreciation Grant Distribution Policy.
this is required by the Department of Ed that we do this every year. It is board policy, but the Department of Ed requires that we do this every year. I have worked with Mrs. Mittendorf on this policy. Even though there's language added because of some of the legislative changes internally, we did not change how that money would be distributed. It will be distributed the same as we have in the past, and that money typically is given to us November-ish, and we have 20 days by law to distribute that to teachers, correct, Kendra?
Yes. Usually we receive it after Thanksgiving, and it goes out before Christmas.
And we don't know what that amount will be yet, so.
Is there any discussion? Need a motion, if you would, please? Rick
moved.
and Beth. All in favor? Looks like 7-0. Next up are the board policy revisions.
So if you notice, there were quite a few board policy revisions. I think I put them in 3 groups, A, B, and C. And these are policies that have been previously approved by the board. These are revisions. Some are technical, meaning grammatical. Some are because of legislative changes. So those are reflected in there. So when you get an opportunity over the next month, look through those, and we'll approve those revisions, hopefully at the next board meeting.
Okay, that's a discussion only. Any questions? Okay, up for the board policy new.
So obviously the policies that are new, these are obviously policies the board has not approved. These are up for discussion only tonight. Some of those group numbers, like the 1s and the 2s and the 3s, some of those were not there when the previous board went through those. So that's why you're seeing them now. New policies based on any kind of legislative changes that were not previously approved by a board, you would see those now. And that's probably what we're going to start seeing as we work through the last little bit of policies that we have. So
Again, discussion only. Is there any? Okay, we'll move on for the recommendation for snow plowing and ice removal.
Yes, we sent out several requests for quotes. We got 2 back. I'm recommending that we use Furman Excavating for the Laurel campus and also 2 transfer locations, and then Coulter Brothers for the Brookfield campus, Mount Carmel campus, and the administration office.
And
I
Furman
do-
will also cover Laurel.
Do what?
Furman will also cover Laurel. From what's
Laurel
I
and
thought I
the
said that.
transfer, that's what you said?
The 2 transfer locations in Laurel Elementary.
Okay.
I do want to say one thing about Mike, and I know he's in the room. I won't say anything back, no. He's been very, very dependable.
Oh,
And-
absolutely.
yes, and he is there, and he's always looking at the snow and the weather, and, yeah, he's very
You can
good.
count on him, definitely.
Hey, Mike, what do you do if the weather's so bad you can't get out?
We call school.
He'll get out.
Okay, any other discussion? We need a motion, if you would, please. Beth
So moved.
and Katie, all in favor? Got 7-0 on that. Next up will be the construction update from Mr. Isaacs.
Yes, hopefully everyone was at the football game on September 1st, where we opened the field up for the first time. It looked great, it played great. It's just a overall great night for Franklin County. We are still working on the punch list and completing some items on there this week. So that we don't have complete ownership of it yet, but they are working on that. The front graphic on the press box has been installed, and we're waiting for the back graphic to be installed. We have some money left over in the contingency fund that we're going to look at building a new shot disc area and make that look better with the appropriate fencing. Work on the gravel between the track and the stands and improve that to try to keep some gravel off the track. Track time clocks in each corner for relays and leg times. Just an update on the chiller. It's not what we want to hear, but right now they've changed the date for delivery to mid-June. We're meeting with the contractor later this week to see what can be done over the winter for a quicker mid-June installation. So we're going to try to
Did
get
they
some of
say
the
why?
infrastructure down. Supply and demand. Everyone got ESSER money, and one of the things with ESSER money was improve air quality. So all these schools got new chillers to improve air quality.
One more thing on the track, or the football field. The track's not finished, right? It gets repainted?
If
Yes?
there's areas that need it, the whole thing does not.
Okay, so like on the curves,
Yes.
when they had, what are we gonna do with that? I mean, we had to bring the turf over a little bit, right?
Yes.
not?
Any place that needs painted, that they've worked on, will get painted.
Okay.
The
I
high
know
jump
that's-
area will be recovered, and the long jump and the pole vault, that will get the track surface on that as well.
Okay, so, I didn't walk the track, but I really thought at the begin, where they were in and out, that, those lines were really,
Yeah, and that, where they had the bridge,
yes,
yes, they'll touch those up.
okay.
And I'm gonna try to get them to touch up, the Franklin County on the
Sure.
text there too,
Yeah.
while we're at it. I mean, they're there.
And you said that there was a punch list and we haven't taken ownership. Is there like a 90-day review to where we can see things that weren't obvious at the first?
Well,
Or
hopefully
is
that'll be taken care of this week.
Okay.
So what we're talking about, there was one divot that's already been fixed. The goalpost needs some fine adjusting and mainly cleaning up. So
When
we
you
did a tremendous amount of cleanup on our own, from Thursday to Friday to have that game. But yes, they still need.
So as we see this, if further down the road, let's say in 90 days, we see something.
Is there a warranty?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I guess that's more my question.
yes,
You said a divot, you mean in the turf?
yes.
That's,
Yeah.
but
What
as
happened is-
as Francis was asking and you were talking, I remembered somebody mentioned either a bubble or a hole
There's
or a tear. I can't remember what it
softball
was.
size.
Yeah.
And it wasn't actual turf, it was underneath it where the fill. And what happened was he stopped to talk on his cell phone when he was spreading. And the exhaust blew down in that area and blew the coconut fibers out and left. And he didn't see it until we pointed it out. But that's been fixed, yes.
Any other questions?
Oh, I got other thing.
He has one more thing.
One more thing. We are pouring a slab for the baseball batting cage as well. And then we're going to use the leftover shock pad that we have and turf to go over that. So they're trying to spruce that up as well.
Replacing the net or the actual
I would
cage
love
itself?
to do
or-
that and see if we can get a quote to do that if the money's there. Absolutely. 100% need to.
Can I also make a comment? That Thursday to Friday before the first football game, it was amazing to see all of our some of the staff members that were over there really rallying to get that field ready to be played on. It was incredible to watch. Everybody just come together to make sure that it was as nice as it was. And props to Mr. Isaacs and our maintenance and groundskeeping because they really got it. They got it looking fantastic in a matter of about 8 hours that day. So it was really great.
And I talked to our architect today, and he said he's already had three or four phone calls asking about Franklin County's field and why they don't have that. One of those was Carmel. So,
Really?
yeah.
Do what now? Say it again.
Asking why their field wasn't as nice as ours because we went with the natural fill, and
Yeah.
that's what
Big tough.
the pros are going to be going to and such.
Yeah.
Did you?
It was nice.
Did any of you see I think it was the Sunday night where the rain was coming down, the NFL game on Sunday night, and those players came out and they had all that black stuff.
Pellets on them.
That was pellets all over their helmets, their faces, and that's what we could have had if we wouldn't have been on top of the coconut shells, so.
Right.
Any other questions? We'll move on. We have nothing under other. Is there a legislative update, Kevin?
Nothing of major significance at this time.
Okay, any future agenda requests? Do we have any recognition or acknowledgements?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think